Your attic is acting like a giant broiler baking your ceilings, and a $9 sheet of foil stops it. Here is exactly how it works. And here is why every contractor who has ever looked at your hot upstairs has never once mentioned it. If you dread walking upstairs on a hot summer afternoon, you are experiencing a phenomenon that traditional heating and air conditioning training struggles to solve. You step onto the second floor and feel a heavy, suffocating wall of heat. Your air conditioner is running non-stop, consuming expensive electricity, but your bedrooms still feel like a sauna. Most homeowners assume their system is failing, or that their ductwork is too small, or that they simply need to buy a larger unit. So, they call a technician, who inevitably suggests zoning, replacing the system, or adding a costly mini-split. But the system is not the actual problem. The cold air your system produces is going somewhere, just not to you, because the structural heat load of your house is simply too high. To understand why your upstairs is baking, we have to look at the physics of how heat enters a building, which is completely different from what most people are taught. We are taught that heat rises, which is true for convection, so we assume attic heat is just rising from inside the home. But in the summer, the real enemy is heat traveling downward, and it does not move by rising air. It moves by electromagnetic radiation. Heat transfer occurs in three distinct ways: conduction, convection, and radiation. Conduction is thermal energy moving through direct physical contact, like your hand touching a hot pan. Convection is heat moving through fluid flow, like hot air blowing from a hairdryer. Radiation is heat moving as electromagnetic infrared waves across empty space, without needing any physical contact at all, exactly like the heat you feel on your skin from a campfire several feet away. Your dark asphalt shingles are incredibly efficient at absorbing solar radiation. On an 85-degree day, your shingles absorb 90 to 95% of the solar energy beating down on them, heating your wooden roof deck to a blistering 140 to 160 degrees. At those extreme temperatures, the underside of your plywood roof deck behaves exactly like a broiler element inside your oven. It glows in the far infrared spectrum. It shines intense radiant energy straight down across the empty attic air. This is where traditional fluffy insulation, like pink fiberglass or blown cellulose, completely fails to solve the problem. Traditional insulation is only built to slow down conduction and convection. It is tested in quiet laboratories where heat is applied directly to the material. But standard insulation is completely transparent to radiant infrared heat waves. The superheated roof deck radiates infrared waves through the empty airspace of your attic. These waves do not warm the air itself. They travel right through it until they strike a solid surface. That solid surface is your fluffy insulation. The insulation absorbs the radiant energy, and the individual glass fibers begin to warm up. As the sun beats down hour after hour, your insulation acts like a giant thermal sponge, soaking up this massive radiant energy load. By mid-afternoon, the sponge is completely saturated with heat. At that point, the heat begins to conduct through the paper backing, through your drywall ceiling, and directly into your second-story bedrooms. This is why your bedrooms are still sweltering at 10 o'clock at night, long after the sun has gone down. Your ceiling has turned into a giant radiator plate, slowly releasing all that stored heat directly onto your bed. This heat absorption cycle becomes an absolute disaster if your air conditioning ductwork is located in the attic. In many modern homes, the furnace or air handler is hung in the attic space, with flexible silver duct tubes spidering across the floor. These duct tubes are typically insulated to a meager R6 or R8 standard, which is incredibly thin compared to the R30 or R60 insulation on your attic floor. When your attic air temperature climbs past 130 degrees, and infrared waves constantly bombard those thin silver tubes, the cold air inside those ducts is warmed up before it ever reaches your registers. Your air conditioner works incredibly hard to cool air down to 55 degrees, but as it travels through the superheated attic, the air is warmed to 65 degrees before blowing out of your vents. You are paying a massive premium to run a high-efficiency machine, but your attic is stealing that cooling capacity before you can ever feel it. Before you run out and buy any materials to fix this, you must understand that there is one critical placement rule that determines whether this physics trick works beautifully or does absolutely nothing at all. If you make this single common installation mistake, you will not only make the material completely useless, you could actually trap moisture inside your roof structure and cause your roof deck to rot. I am going to show you exactly how this moisture and airspace dynamic works in just a moment. Because getting the placement right is the difference between a cool house and a multi-$1,000 structural repair. The solution to this radiant energy problem is a technology called a radiant barrier, which was originally engineered by NASA to keep astronauts from cooking inside their spacecraft. In space, there is no air, meaning conduction and convection do not exist. 100% of solar heat in space travels via radiation. To protect astronauts and sensitive electronics, NASA developed thin, highly reflective aluminized mylar sheets that bounce radiant energy away. Today, we can use that exact same space-age physics to protect our homes. If you are currently building a new home, adding an addition, or preparing to replace your shingles, you can utilize radiant barrier roof sheathing. The most popular brand is LP TechShield, which is standard-oriented strand-board roof sheathing pre-laminated with a durable layer of pure aluminum foil on one side during manufacturing. A standard 4x8 sheet of this sheathing costs only about $9 to $14 at major lumber suppliers, which is only a few dollars more than regular plywood. For a typical house, upgrading to this sheathing during construction adds less than $300 to the total material cost of the roof. If you are not replacing your roof deck anytime soon, you can achieve the exact same performance in your existing attic by using a retrofit product. You can buy rolls of double-sided perforated heavyweight radiant barrier foil with popular brands like Attic Foil or Radiant Guard. A standard roll of this material covering 1,000 square feet costs around $100 to $150 at major home improvement centers or online retailers. This material is not the thin, fragile aluminum foil you have in your kitchen. It is an industrial-grade, heavyweight foil that is laminated to both sides of a reinforcing woven scrim. This scrim makes the material virtually impossible to tear by hand, allowing it to withstand the rigors of being pulled through tight attic spaces and stapled to wooden framing. The physical reason why this thin layer of aluminum works so well comes down to a property called emissivity. Emissivity measures a material's capacity to emit radiant energy as infrared waves. It is measured on a scale from 0 to 1. Standard building materials like wood, drywall, and fiberglass insulation have a very high emissivity of around 0.9, meaning they absorb and release 90% of the radiant heat they receive. Pure aluminum, on the other hand, has an incredibly low emissivity of just 0.03 and a reflectivity of 97%. This means that when the sun superheats your shingles and wooden roof deck, the aluminum layer reflects 97% of that downward radiant heat right back up toward the roof. Furthermore, because its emissivity is only 3%, the foil cannot radiate heat downward into your attic space. By installing this simple layer of foil, you stop the radiant transfer entirely, preventing your insulation from turning into a heat sponge. Installing a retrofit radiant barrier is a project you can easily complete in a single weekend. The only tools you need are a heavy-duty manual or pneumatic staple gun, plenty of half-inch staples, a sharp utility knife, a tape measure, and proper safety gear. Because attics are dusty, hot, and often contain fiberglass fibers, you must wear a high-quality dust mask, safety goggles, a long-sleeve shirt, and thick work gloves. You will also need a bright portable light and a sturdy piece of plywood to lay across your ceiling joists. Never step directly on the drywall ceiling between the joists, or your foot will go straight through the ceiling of the room below. Always plan to do this project early in the morning when the attic is at its coolest, as afternoon temperatures in an attic can quickly become dangerously hot. To begin the installation, you will staple the foil rolls directly to the underside of your wooden roof rafters. Start at one end of the attic and roll the foil out horizontally across the rafters. Hold the foil taut and place staples every few inches along each wooden rafter it crosses. Once you reach the end of a run, cut the foil with your utility knife and begin the next row. You should overlap the rows by about 2 inches to ensure continuous coverage. You do not need to seal the seams with tape, as the goal is to create a physical block against downward radiation, not to create an airtight seal. In fact, leaving slight gaps at the seams is beneficial for air movement. If your roof is framed with complex trusses rather than simple rafters, the installation process is still very manageable. Instead of running the foil horizontally, you can run it vertically down the face of the trusses. Attach the foil near the peak of the roof and let it drape down to the top of your wall plates. Secure it with staples along the truss webbing. If you encounter obstacles like brick chimneys, plumbing vents, or electrical boxes, simply cut the foil around them, leaving a 2-inch clearance. The key is to cover as much open wood surface as possible. Even if you only manage to cover 80% of your attic ceiling due to tight spaces, you will still block a massive portion of the radiant heat load entering your home. Now, here is the critical placement rule that almost nobody explains, and it is the exact reason why some people claim that radiant barriers do not work. A radiant barrier must have an open airspace of at least 3/4 of an inch next to the shiny aluminum side to work. If you do not allow for this airspace, the radiant barrier will act as a direct conductor and pass the heat straight through. Remember, radiant barriers only block radiant heat, not conductive heat. If you lay the foil flat on your attic floor directly on top of your existing insulation and dust eventually covers the foil, its reflectivity drops dramatically. Furthermore, if the foil directly touches the wood on one side and the insulation on the other, the heat will conduct directly through the metal by touching, completely bypassing the low emissivity benefit. By stapling the foil to the underside of the rafters, you create a natural air gap of several inches between the hot roof deck and the shiny foil. This airspace allows the foil to work as intended, reflecting the heat back up toward the roof deck. But this is also where moisture management becomes incredibly important. Your home naturally releases moisture from cooking, bathing, and breathing, and this moisture rises into your attic. If you use a solid, non-perforated plastic foil, you will trap that moisture under your roof deck, where it will condense into water droplets, saturate the wood, and cause mold and rot. This is why you must purchase perforated radiant barrier foil. Perforated foil is manufactured with thousands of tiny pinholes that allow water vapor to escape freely while still reflecting 97% of the infrared heat waves. LP TechShield solves this during manufacturing using their patented vapor vents technology, which consists of tiny post-lamination incisions that allow the panels to dry from construction moisture. When you staple the foil to your rafters, you must leave a clear gap of 6 inches at the very top ridge of the roof and a 6-inch gap at the very bottom near the soffit vents. This spacing creates a highly efficient natural convection loop known as the chimney effect. As the air between the hot roof deck and the foil heats up, it naturally rises toward the ridge vent at the top of your roof. This rising hot air draws cooler outdoor air in through the soffit vents at the bottom. This continuous rapid airflow sweeps the reflected heat out of your attic before it can ever accumulate. This synergy between the radiant barrier and your attic's natural ventilation is what makes the system incredibly effective. While a radiant barrier is an incredibly effective tool, it is important to be completely honest about its limitations. This fix is not a miracle cure for every single home, and its effectiveness depends heavily on your climate and your existing insulation levels. If you live in a cold northern climate where winter heating is your primary utility expense, a radiant barrier will provide almost no benefit. In the winter, the sun is low in the sky, and your primary goal is to keep conductive heat from escaping your living spaces. For winter warmth, traditional thick insulation is what you need. Additionally, if your attic already has an incredibly high level of traditional insulation, such as R49 or R60 cellulose blown into a depth of 18 inches, the benefit of adding a radiant barrier is greatly reduced. With that much insulation, your thermal sponge is so thick that very little heat can conduct through to your ceiling anyway. A study conducted by the Oak Ridge National Laboratory showed that radiant barriers provide the most dramatic energy savings in homes with lower levels of existing insulation, such as R11 or R19, which is very common in older homes. If your home was built before the year 2000 and you have less than 6 inches of insulation in your attic, a radiant barrier will make a massive, immediate difference in your comfort. There is also a very real, non-thermal side effect that you must consider before installing a radiant barrier. Because you are wrapping the top of your home in a continuous sheet of metal foil, you are essentially building a partial Faraday cage. This aluminum shield is highly effective at blocking electromagnetic waves, which includes radio waves, cellular signals, and satellite signals. If you already have weak cell phone reception inside your house, installing a radiant barrier on your roof can completely kill your cellular signal upstairs. It can also interfere with attic-mounted television antennas or Wi-Fi routers. If you rely on cellular data inside your home, you may need to install a cellular signal booster with an external antenna to overcome this limitation. So, if this technology is so simple, cheap, and backed by government research, why do HVAC contractors and attic insulation companies almost never recommend it? The answer is not a grand conspiracy, but rather a simple matter of business incentives and training gaps. Heating and cooling companies are in the business of selling and servicing complex mechanical machinery. Their technicians are trained to diagnose compressors, fans, electrical boards, and refrigerant levels. They make their highest profit margins on equipment markups and specialized labor. A typical HVAC company has very little incentive to send a technician into a hot, dusty attic to staple a $100 roll of foil to your rafters. There is very little room for equipment markup, the labor is physically grueling, and the project does not generate ongoing maintenance agreement revenue. Similarly, insulation companies make their money by blowing large volumes of fiberglass or cellulose using specialized trucks. They prefer simple, high-volume blowing jobs over the tedious, manual carpentry work of measuring and stapling foil. Tell me in the comments which room in your house is the absolute hottest in the summer, and if any technician has ever suggested a radiant barrier to you. I read every single comment, and I already know what most of the answers are going to look like. If this gave you something real, something you can install yourself for under $100, please hit that like button. It helps more than you know. And subscribe if you want to keep getting honest, practical information about your home without the markup. Thank you for watching. Stay comfortable, and I will see you in the next one.